Hello friends, welcome to Affairs Cloud Learn to Lead. This is Ashu and today we will discuss very important current affairs of 1st of July 2021. So it is a new month, new hopes and new beginnings. So you can see two best images of the day, but today we will discuss very important and the most important current affairs. Guys, you can download our application Careers Cloud and you can download from the description box link. After downloading, you can log in with your email ID and you can click on this crack current affairs section if you want to subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2-year current affairs. Both the prices of these subscriptions are very much low. If you see the price, you will definitely surprise. But the most importantly, we are covering 90 to 95% of the current affair which are coming in your exam. This is the genuinity. This is the hard work of Affairs Cloud team. But how we are covering this type of current affair? We are providing you daily section. In the daily, you will receive three things. One is detail. Second is the question and answer format of current affair. Third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on daily basis. Next, we are providing weekly section. Again, you will receive three things. One is detailed current affair. Second is question and answer format of current affair. Third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on weekly basis. And the most important section is the monthly, and we are providing four type of PDFs. One is the detailed current affair, question and answer format of current affair, best 100 current affair, that is also provided in the form of question and answer, and the pocket PDF. It means 2-liners and the 3-liners current affair will be provided to you so that you can revise the current affair in quick format before your exam. But to enhance your performance, we are also providing topic wise current affair. We are providing 20 most important topics which are very important for every type of exam. And guys, if you want to revise all the current affairs related to one topic, then you can go for this section. If you are a banking aspirant, we are providing three things. One is detail and question and answer format of current affairs only related to banking and economy. And third is the quiz section which you can attempt on our application on monthly basis. If you want to revise all the past current affair of 2021 just from single PDF, then this exam PDF is for you. We are also providing detailed budget and economic survey and expected in question and answer which examiner can ask from budget and economic survey. We are also providing state current affairs. If you are preparing for your state exam, then this is best for you. And guys, we are covering every state and union territory. So all these things comes under just one subscription. You have to just download our application and you have to log in with your email ID and you can click on this crack current affair section and you can subscribe for 1 year as well as for 2 years. Both the subscription prices are very much low. If you see, you will definitely surprise. And on that minimal price, we are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And you can log in on our application with your email ID. But if you have any query, then you can call us on this number or you can reach us on this email ID if you have any query. So let's begin today's session. That is 1st of July 2021. But I am requesting you all the students that you have to like this video. You have to share this video as maximum as possible and you have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. This is the only motivation you can give us. And guys, please join our Telegram group from the description box link. Here is the most important question section. And first question is, what is the rank of India in the Global Startup Ecosystem Index 2021? So the most important keyword here is the Global Startup Ecosystem Index. So every time if you are seeing any index, then you have to remember three things. This index is published by which organization? If it is important, then you have to learn this, otherwise you can skip this. India's rank, that is most important, and which country topped under this index. So these three things are very, very important under any type of index. So this ranking Global Startup Ecosystem Index 2021 is published by one of the Israel organization which is known as Startup Blink. Remember, Startup Blink. This is the name of the organization, Startup Blink. And what is the rank of India? India rank is 20th under this index. So remember, total countries are ranked under this index are 100 and out of 100 India's rank is 20th. You can see here, India jumps 3 spots up in the global startup ranking. It means in 2020th ranking, India's rank was 23rd. India was ranked 23rd in the Global Startup Ecosystem Index of 2020, but now India ranked on the 20th position. And you can also cover one most important question under this index, that which city or the what city has highest ranked Indian city in the Global Startup Ecosystem Index 2021. In simple word, you can say that best to best city for the startups in India, and it is Bengaluru. So guys, answer of this question is A. So you have to remember both the questions. What is the rank of India in the Global Startup Ecosystem Index? That is 20th rank. And which city ranked highest from Indian side in the Global Startup Ecosystem Index? That is Bengaluru. And you can see here, Startup Blink released the Global Startup Ecosystem Index. So this organization is not so much important. So this organization belongs to Israel. In the city-wise ranking, San Francisco Bay, United States of America, topped under this index. Second rank under this index goes to New York, that is again belongs to United States of America, and third rank goes to China. If you are talking about the city wise index, Bengaluru, Karnataka was the highest ranked Indian city at rank number 10. So it means Bengaluru ranked in the global list is on the 10th position. In 2020 Bengaluru was on the 14th position, but now Bengaluru was in the top 10 list. And overall 43 Indian cities featured in the list, and out of which 9 cities are new. But you don't have to learn about these 9 cities, you have to remember 43 cities are listed under this index. And India was ranked 23rd in the global startup index of 2020. You have to remember this, because this type of question can come which of the following statement is true. So you have to remember. And if you are only comparing the Asia Pacific level countries, then China topped under this index. If I am talking about only the Asia Pacific level, China topped under this index, followed by Australia. Australia is on the second, but India's rank is on the 5th position if we are talking about only Asia Pacific level. And Bangalore is the top ranked city in the Asia Pacific level as well. So you have to remember these things which I told you, because these are very, very important. You can skip all other things, but these are very, very important. So guys, remember this, and 2 questions we covered, but you can also remember these indexes. These are again very, very important indexes. Like you can see here, the 49th rank. This is the rank of India in the Good Governance Index. And the country topped under this index is Finland, and this index is released by Chandler Institute of Governance. 87th rank, this is the rank of India in the Global Energy Transition Index, and the country topped under this index is Sweden. But here the organization is important, that who published this index, energy transition index. It is World Economic Forum. Next is 142nd is the rank of India in the World Press Freedom Index. This is most important. World Press Freedom Index of 2021. Again, this index is basically published by Reporters Without Borders. This organization is very important. Reporters Without Borders. Remember this. And country topped under this index, Norway. So remember these things, because these are again very, very important. Now we are moving to next question. Which city became world most expensive city? So the most important keyword under this question, world most expensive city. And this ranking, or you can say this list, is released by one of the organization which is known as Mercer. This is a New York or United States of America based organization. And guys, they released a report which is known as 2021 Cost of Living City Ranking. And the city is Ashgabat, and it is basically the capital of Turkmenistan. So you can remember Turkmenistan, and it is the capital of Turkmenistan, and this Ashgabat become the world most expensive city, and it is for the foreigner workers. So you can remember this Ashgabat, world most expensive city for the foreign workers. And what is the rank of Mumbai? Mumbai drops 18 places. Now what is the rank of Mumbai? Mumbai's rank is 78th, and it is released by Mercer, one of the New York based organization or United States of America based organization, who released this cost of living survey. And you can see here Mumbai, Maharashtra was ranked at 78th, making India's most expensive city. So examiner can ask that from Indian side, which is the most expensive city? Then answer of this question is Mumbai. And this index basically highlighted essential factors like currency fluctuation, cost inflation, accommodation price instability to determine the cost of packages or anything else. And it is a biannual survey that evaluates more than 200 goods and services, including housing, you can say transportation, food, clothing, household goods, and entertainment. And Mumbai dropped in ranking due to weak performance of Indian rupee in comparison with the other cities in the ranking. And guys, world least expensive city for, you can say, the expatriates, or you can say the foreign workers, it is Bishkek, which is the capital of Kyrgyzstan. So you have to remember, total 209 countries were ranked, or 209 cities basically ranked under this index, and out of 209th rank is Bishkek, which is capital of Kyrgyzstan. If you want to remember the other cities ranking, like Indian cities ranking, then you can also remember that New Delhi ranked on the 117th position, Tamil Nadu, or you can say the Chennai ranked on the 158th position, Bengaluru ranked on 170th, and West Bengal on 181st. But you have to just remember about the Mumbai, because it is the top city which is ranked as a most expensive city from the Indian side. So remember. So don't remember here the Mercer. Mercer is a name of organization which belongs to United States of America, which released this list. Just remember, world most expensive city is Ashgabat, which is capital of Turkmenistan. So these two things are very, very important. Moving to next question. Which city from India has been ranked on the top spot in the top 10 established technology submarket in the Asia Pacific? So recently a report was published named as Growth Engines of Innovation: How Asia Pacific Technologies Hubs Are Reshaping Regional Real Estate. And out of this 10 established technology sub-market in Asia Pacific, from Indian side it is again Bengaluru, guys. So remember, outer ring road of the Bengaluru has been ranked on the 6th position out of 10 established technology sub-markets in the Asia Pacific for companies to set up operations. It means the new startups, new companies want to basically establish their headquarters or want to establish their units in Bengaluru's outer ring road. So this is the basically criteria of this ranking. So you can see here Bengaluru among the top 5 offices center in the Asia Pacific for the tech firms. And you can see here outer ring road of Bengaluru, it is specifically defined here, has been ranked 6th in the top 10 established technology submarket in the Asia Pacific. We are talking about the which are already established. The list had been topped by the Beijing, China. You can remember it is topped by Beijing, China. And even Hyderabad Information Technology and Engineering Consultancy City, Hyderabad, ranked on the 10th position. Like Bengaluru ranked on the 6th position, and Hyderabad Information Technology and Engineering Consultancy in Hyderabad ranked on the 10th position. What do these cities offer? They are offering basically balance of infrastructure and talent of occupiers, future growth, investment opportunity for the owners. So these are the things which are these cities are offering. And Bengaluru, Whitefield and North Bengaluru are ranked at the 3rd and the 4th respectively in the top 10 upcoming technology submarket in the Asia Pacific. Earlier we were talking about only the established technology submarkets in the Asia Pacific, but we are now talking about upcoming technology submarkets. In the upcoming technology market, Bengaluru rank is on the 3rd and the 4th. So you can remember just this thing, that the established technology submarket and the Bengaluru rank is on the 6th position, and overall 6th, but on the Indian side it is on the top position. Other cities like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, you can say Delhi, NCR are the top market by the property factors or the availability of quality space at the competitive rentals. And other cities developing strength in the specific areas of technology are Seoul and the Hong Kong in the financial technology. But you don't have to remember these things. So just remember the Bengaluru is on the 6th position in the global rank, and on the Indian side it is on the top position. Now we are moving to the next question. So all the most important we now covered. So very important section, and you have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and please subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. This is the only motivation you can give us. And guys, please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the question. Narendra Modi inaugurated Zen Garden and Kaizen Academy at which place? So here are two important keywords. One is the Zen Garden, second is the Kaizen Academy. So Zen Gardens are originally created as a place for the Buddhist monks to meditate and absorb the teaching of the Buddha. And the modern Japanese Zen Gardens are meant to be, you can say, very calm places where the mind can be at rest and you can experience a state of calm tranquility. So this is the Zen Garden. And what is the Kaizen Academy? Kaizen word itself means continuous improvement. It is a strategy where employees at all levels of the company work together proactively to achieve regular incremental improvements to the manufacturing process. In simple word, you can say it combines the collective talents within a company to create a powerful engine for the improvement. It means Kaizen means improvement or change good. So this is established in Ahmedabad. So in simple word, you can say that it is inaugurated by Modi ji, and it is basically inaugurated so that to display the bond between India and Japan. And the Zen Garden and the Kaizen Academy is a symbol of spontaneity and modernity of the relation between India and Japan. And the leaders of, you can say, the Japan and the India also arrived on at this spot like Zen Garden and the Kaizen Academy at Ahmedabad Management Association. And Kaizen is currently used in various department, institution and schemes of the central government. I already explained what is Kaizen and what is this Zen theory. Now we can move to the next question. Which Indian ship conducted military exercise with South Korean ship in the East China Sea? So again, this question is very important. You have to just remember the name of the Indian ship which conducted this military exercise with the South Korean ship. Answer of this question is INS Kiltan. So you have to remember INS Kiltan conducted a Navy partnership exercise in the East China Sea with the Republic of Korean Navy ship. And you can see here, you don't have to remember the name of the Republic of Korea ship. You have to just just remember it belongs to South Korean ship. And the military exercise is aimed at enhancing the interoperability and exchange of the best practices in the maritime domain. It was also conducted due to China's growing assertiveness in the region of the you can say East China Sea. So we have to reduce the dominance of the China in the East China Sea. So that's why we are conducting these type of the exercises. But you have to remember about INS Tabar. We yesterday discussed about INS Tabar. This INS Tabar is the Indian Navy ship which has been deployed to participate in the Russian Navy Parade Day. Or you can say the Russian Navy Day celebration and joint exercises with the friendly countries like Africa and the European continent. We yesterday discussed about the three exercises. One is the Konkan exercise, which will be conducted by INS Talbar with the United Kingdom, and Varuna exercise with the French, and Indra exercise with the Russia. So you have to remember it will be conducted with the INS Tabar. So remember this. Moving to next question. Which bank made agreement with the Amazon Web Services for the digital transformation of the bank? So answer of this question is Axis Bank. So Axis Bank Limited, that is the India's third largest private sector bank after the HDFC and ICICI, made a multi-year agreement with the Amazon Web Services, the cloud computing arm of the Amazon, to build a portfolio of the new digital financial services with technology changes and the new payment modes for the better banking experiences to the customer. So in simple word, you can say that the Axis Bank want a digital transformation or new kind of things under the banking sector. So that's why they tied up with the Amazon Web Services. And you can see here AWS signs multi-year digital agreement with the Axis Bank, and it is to build a portfolio of the new digital financial services with the technology change. And Axis Bank has selected this Amazon Web Services as a cloud provider to meet the digital banking services demand over its 200 million customers. And the first important sector is the easy account opening, because under the agreement the bank intends to provide online accounts that could be opened in less than 6 minutes, because like neobanks and the other banks are basically providing these type of the facilities that customers can open the online accounts. So that's why these traditional banks like Axis, HDFC, ICICI have to change their online account system, and now they want to change the traditional method. So that's why they are tying up with these type of the companies like Amazon Web Services, and customers can now open a current account or any type of the account within 6 minutes to make instant digital payments, through which the bank hopes to increase customer satisfaction by 35% and lower cost by the 24%. And the bank plans to convert 70% of its on-premises data center infrastructure to the cloud in the next 2 years. It means maximum to maximum data can be stored on the cloud, and this is the target under the next 2 years, that they will convert all the data on the cloud by 2 years, and it will be approximately 70% of the total data. But you have to remember here about the Axis Bank. Axis Bank was established in 1993. It commenced operation in 1994. Its MD and CEO is Amitabh Chaudhary. Headquarters is in Mumbai, and its tagline is Badhti ka naam Zindagi. So remember, Badhti ka naam Zindagi. This is the tagline. Moving to next question. Which small finance bank partnered with LoanTap to provide personal loans to salaried professionals? So 3 keywords are under this question: name of the small finance bank, name of the company LoanTap, and it is for the salaried professionals. And answer of this question is Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. So Ujjivan Small Finance Bank partnered with the LoanTap Financial Technology Private Limited, a digital lender, to provide personal loans to the salaried professionals. And you can see here Ujjivan Small Finance Bank partnered with the LoanTap. But you can also remember about LoanTap, that LoanTap is a mobile and web-based platform to provide instant personal loans digitally with a minimal documentation. And under this tie-up, Ujjivan Small Finance Bank offers personal loans on the LoanTap platform ranging from 1 lakh to 10 lakh with a maximum tenure of the 48 months, or you can say the 2 years. So maximum time period is 2 years, and loan amount will be from 1 lakh to 10 lakh rupees, and it will be for the salaried person. So the main objective of this tie-up is to expand or extend the bank services to its customers via LoanTap fast and the convenient platform. So this is the main criteria of this loan availability. Now, you have to remember about Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. This was established in 2017, and when it was set up, its name was Ujjivan Financial Services Limited. Headquarters is in Bengaluru, and its MD and CEO is Nitin Chugh, and tagline is Build a Better Life. Build a Better Life. So you have to remember these things. Moving to next question. Which company signed a strategic partnership with Abu Dhabi National Oil Company to establish a mega chemical project in the United Arab Emirates? So answer of this question is Reliance Industries. You can see here Mukesh Ambani here, and you can say the head of this Abu Dhabi National Oil Company expect to build a mega chemical project in Abu Dhabi. And you can also see here this partnership utilizes the increasing demand for the critical industrial raw material and utilize the strength of the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. This agreement definitely enhances the Abu Dhabi National Company downstream and industry growth plan in the line with 2030 agenda. And guys, remember, this project will manufacture the ethylene dichloride, a key product for the production of the PVC in India. So it will be beneficial for India also. And the project will manufacture polyvinyl chloride, or you can say the PVC, especially for the India as well as for the Abu Dhabi. So you have to just remember the name of this company. The name of this company is Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, and name of Indian company is Reliance Industry, and they will establish a mega chemical project in the Abu Dhabi, and it is for the PVC, polyvinyl chloride. And don't remember anything. Don't remember about Reliance Industry. Don't remember about Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. It is not important. Moving to next question. Which organization released the study on not-for-profit hospital model in India? So you have to remember the keyword here is the not-for-profit hospital. So you can't imagine that these type of the hospitals exist in India, not-for-profit hospital. And this report or this study is released by Niti Aayog. So you have to remember, study on the not-for-profit hospital model in India, it is released by Niti Aayog. And you can see here, it is one of the member of Niti Aayog, Dr. Vinod Kumar Paul, who released this report. And according to the data, like till June 2018, these hospitals account for only 1.1% of the treated ailments. So you have to just remember that a not-for-profit hospital sector provides affordable and accessible healthcare. And not-for-profit hospital provides affordable and accessible healthcare. Not-for-profit hospital account only 2.7% of inpatients in the country. This is a huge thing under this report, because the cumulative cost of the care at not-for-profit hospital is lesser than for profit hospitals by almost 1/4 of inpatient department. It means these not-for-profit hospital only charge 25% of the cost which is charged by the profit hospital. So this is a very good thing by the not-for-profit hospital, but these are very less in India. And the cumulative cost of OPD, like outpatient department care in the not-for-profit hospitals, is almost 1/3 lesser than the private for profit hospitals. So there is a need to increase this not-for-profit hospital so that we can increase the health system. We can provide best to best health system to the Indian population. And the study proposed a short-term and long-term policy interventions for these hospitals, such as 100% exemption for the donations under Section 80G, development of the directory of these hospitals, ranking them through a performance index, and promoting top hospitals for practicing philanthropy. And it is also proposed to provide working capital loans with a lower interest rate to these hospitals so that they can grow more and they can provide the best to best health facility to the Indian population. So India needs this type of hospital, because maximum population is poor or the middle class population. To treat these people, we need this type of the hospital. So this is a very kind thing by the Niti Aayog that they published this type of report. So remember about Niti Aayog, it was established in 2015 after the abolishment of the Planning Commission, and chairperson is Prime Minister. Every time the who will be the Prime Minister, the chairperson of this Niti Aayog will be the Prime Minister. Executive head, or you can say the CEO of this body, is Amitabh Kant, and headquarters is in New Delhi. Moving to next question. Innoviti Payment Solution and which company partnered to provide dual display UPI facility at Shoppers Stop outlets? So the very important keyword here is the dual display UPI facility. And this is started by Innoviti Payment Solution and the very important company of India, that is PhonePe. So you can see here, Innoviti and PhonePe partners to pioneer dual display unified payment interface. So you have to remember Innoviti Payment Solution, it is India's largest provider of payment solution to enterprise merchants, and PhonePe is the India's largest digital payment platform, have partnered to provide dual display unified payment interface facility at the Shoppers Stop outlets. And you can see here, customers can pay safely and fastly through the UPI while shopping at the Shoppers Stop outlets all over India. And dual display UPI creates a dynamic QR dynamic QR that carries the payment amount, merchant credentials, and secure transaction token. So it reduces the transaction time of typical UPI transactions about 20 seconds to 10 seconds. It is a contactless feature with neither the cashier nor the customer having to touch the display. They have to just show their UPI IDs to each other and the payment will be done. So that's why it is known as the dual UPI system. So why this dual type of system is launched? It is a contactless feature. Firstly, it aims to increase the UPI transactions or the contactless payments, and further modernizing the checkout while saving time and effort the cashiers and the customers. So you have to remember about PhonePe here. PhonePe, don't remember the establishment here, just remember the founder and chief executive officer. Founder is Sameer Nigam. Sameer Nigam. Don't remember Sonu Nigam. It is Sameer Nigam. And remember the headquarters is in Bengaluru. Moving to next question. Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant gets dash time period extension, and answer of this question is 1 year. Very simple question. He was appointed basically in 2016, and he was appointed just for the time period of 2 years, but so many times his time period was extended. Amitabh Kant was a 1980 batch IS officer of the Kerala cadre. Previously, he worked as the secretary of the Department of Industrial Policy and the Promotion. He was also responsible for introducing new technology like finger glass craft, outdoor motor in the fishery sector, and launching beach level auctions which sustainably enhance returns to a traditional fisherman. But you don't have to remember, you have to just remember that he was appointed in 2016 for 2 years, but so many times his time period was extended. Now his time period extended for 1 year. It means he can retire in 2022, in June 2022. You can see here the picture of Amitabh Kant. He is currently the CEO of Niti Aayog. We already discussed about Niti Aayog. Moving to next question. Glacial Lake Atlas of which river basin was released by Ministry of Jal Shakti recently? Answer of this question is Ganga. You can see here, this is basically the Glacial Lake Atlas, and you can see the full image. The link is given on our website, and it is for the Ganga river basin. So now the question arises that why the Ministry of Jal Shakti released this Glacial Lake Atlas of the Ganga river? So the main use of this atlas is for carrying out climate change impact analysis, disaster mitigation planning, and for mitigating the possible adverse effects or the impacts of the glacial lake outburst floods by the analyzing changes in the water bodies in the Himalayan region. That's why they released this type of atlas, and it will also aid in effective water resource development and management. So you can see here the atlas mapped 4,707 glacial lakes in the Ganga river basin. So small lakes like this. And Chairman ISRO launched this National Hydrology Portal, which is known as Bhuvan Portal of NRSC. NRSC stands for National Remote Sensing Center. So Chairman of ISRO is K. Sivan. It means K. Sivan, the Chairman of ISRO, launched this NHP Bhuvan Portal of National Remote Sensing Center. So you have to remember this, the name of the portal, it is Bhuvan Portal. And you can remember, here you can see here the full map of the Ganga Brahmaputra, and Ganga is basically starting on this area. Ganga is starting from this area. I'm changing the color, and this area is basically known as the Gangotri Glacier. Gangotri Glacier. It starts from the Uttarakhand, and it is known as Bhagirathi in Uttarakhand. After that, it goes like this, and so many rivers are basically meeting the Ganga, like Gomti is there. You can see this is Gomti. Gagar is there. Gandak is there. Kosi is there, and so many states this river is covering, like Uttarakhand. Next is UP. Bihar is also covered by this. And you can see here the Farakka Dam. After passing from the Farakka Dam, this Ganga river divides into the two parts. One is known as the Padma. It goes to the Bangladesh, and one is known as Hooghly. Hooghly basically drains in the West Bengal, and it forms the Sundarban Delta. And Padma, before drainage, it also meets with the Brahmaputra, and it both the rivers form Meghna. But you have to go to the lectures of the river system, and I will definitely start these type of the lectures so that you can learn more things about the geography, history, polity, and the economics. But you have to remember these things which I told you. Now moving to next question, but you have to remember about Ministry of Jal Shakti. Union Minister of this ministry is Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, and constituency is Jodhpur in Rajasthan. Remember this. Moving to next question. What is the name of research initiative started by Science and Engineering Research Board and Intel India? So remember the name of the two organizations. One is Science and Engineering Research Board. Second is Intel India. And name of this research initiative is FIRE. FIRE stands for Fund for Industrial Research Engagement. Fund for Industrial Research Engagement. This is the meaning of FIRE. You can see here, SERB DST partners with Intel India, and SERB stands for Science and Engineering Research Board of Department of Science and Technology partners with Intel India, launched first of its kind initiative for the advanced deep tech based research in India. And remember here, Intel India is very important. And FIRE stands for Fund for Industrial Research Engagement. And why they started this initiative? It is to advance deep technology based research in India. It will help the Indian research community to pursue industry relevant research opportunities in the areas like deep technology. Like deep technology stands for artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud, edge, security, which are novel, transformative, and have a groundbreaking impact on a national and global scale. And FIRE is a joint government and industry initiative with a co-funding mechanism. And research projects which have breakthrough potential at a national and the global level will be selected according to the cycle, once or twice a year. And best researchers in academia will be supported with funding, mentoring, and the industry connection. This is the deep tech startup initiative, and it is known as FIRE. It is started by Intel India. Intel global headquarters in United States of America, and Science and Engineering Research Board is established in New Delhi. So don't remember these things, just remember the main keyword here is the FIRE, and it is a research initiative. Moving to next question. International Day of Parliamentarism is annually observed across the globe on which day? So it is observed on the 30th of June. Now the question arises, why this day is celebrated? It is to recognize the importance of parliaments in the national plans and the strategies. The day also highlights the importance of parliaments in ensuring transparency and accountability at national and the global level. You can see here, International Day of Parliamentarism, 30th of June, it is celebrated, and the main organization is linked under this day is Inter-Parliamentary Union. So you have to remember why this is celebrated on 30th of June, because Inter-Parliamentary Union was established on the 30th of June 1889. Remember this. And a campaign was also launched by Inter-Parliamentary Union. I say yes to youth in parliament. It means the number of youth should be increased in the parliament. And the first International Day of Parliamentarism was celebrated in the year of 2018. But you have to remember the most important organization here, that is Inter-Parliamentary Union. The year, you know that this organization was established in 1889. It means 132 years ago this organization was established, and it is an international organization. It is a you can say intergovernmental organization. Its headquarters is in Geneva. And its president is Duarte. Duarte. I think the spelling is right, but you can check. Duarte Peschicho. We covered this question like in the month of April or March. I think we covered this question in the March month. So just remember the president of this organization, headquarter, and 1889 the establishment year. And you can also remember the countries which are member. 193 countries are member, but some countries have only one house. One country have two houses. So out of 193, 79 have two houses. It means the bicameral legislation, and 114 has only one house, that is unicameral legislation. So you can remember how many countries are also member. And remember, this organization promotes greater transparency, accountability, and participation at the global level. And it is our sustainable development goal number 16, which promotes just and peaceful and inclusive society. And it is dedicated to the promotion of peaceful and inclusive societies for the sustainable development, assess the justice to all, building effective and accountable institution at all level. So just remember these things, because you are covering one most important organization here, and this is Inter-Parliamentary Union. Now we are moving to the next question. States and UTs to implement one nation, one ration card by which date according to the Supreme Court order? Recently, Supreme Court summoned the states and UTs to implement one nation, one ration card. I think all the students know about this scheme, that one nation, one ration card. And according to the Supreme Court, this should be applied by the date of 31st of July 2021. Remember 31st July 2021. It is to ensure food security, cash transfer, and other welfare measures for the migrant workers under the COVID 2019. And remember, this scheme was started in June 2019. June 2019 to enable migrant workers and their family members to buy subsidized ration from any fair shop anywhere in the country under the National Food Security Act of the 2013. And till of the March 2017, remember, till of the March 2021, not 17, 21, 17 states have implemented this scheme. 17 states and 4 union territories also implemented this scheme. But Assam, you have to remember, this question is important. Assam, Chhattisgarh, Delhi, and West Bengal were not yet covered under the scheme. Not yet covered under the scheme. And One Nation, One Ration Card is based on the technology that involves details of the beneficiary ration cards, Aadhaar number, and the electronic point of sale. So remember, it is on the 31st of July 2021 that all the states and UTs have to implement this One Nation, One Ration Card according to the Supreme Court ruling. Moving to next, and it is again from picture thing. Atmanirbhar Krishi application launched by the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India. So why this application is launched? By the name you can guess that this application aims to equip farmers with actionable agriculture insights and provide early weather alerts. And it also collects the data related to soil type, soil health, moisture, weather, and water table, and generates personalized insights related to the crop selection, fertilizer requirements, and water needs for each farmer. It means it will basically empower the farmer to know about the soil type, know about the seed quality, know about the fertilizer requirements, so that maximum to maximum output can be generated from one land. And this application is designed and built by the Tech Mahindra Makers Lab team, which is the research and development team of the Tech Mahindra. And guys, remember, the surface water and groundwater can be restored by this application. Soil type and soil health can be provided to the farmers. Land surface information can be provided to the farmers. Even early weather and the weather based information also can be provided by the to the farmers by the Indian Meteorological Department. So these things will be very helpful for the farmers. And remember, principal scientific advisor to the Government of India is Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, and headquarters is in New Delhi. So moving to next question. Again, it is from picture, but it is not so much important. One scheme of government which is known as Prime Minister Formalization of Micro Food Processing Enterprise Scheme. So it completed the 1 year. So that's why there is a celebration of completing of this Yojana or this scheme of the Government of India. This scheme was basically launched in 2020-21, that the financial year, and it will be implemented till 2024-25. And its total outlay is 10,000 crore. It was launched under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, and it completed 1 year because it launched on the 29th of June 2020. Now in 2021, it completed 1 year. And what is the target of this scheme? 2 lakh micro food processing units will be directly assisted with the credit linked subsidy. Even this scheme achieved so many components, like one is the one district, one product component, very much utilized by the Uttar Pradesh, because under this component, the Ministry of Food Processing Industries approved one district, one product of 707 districts of 35 states and the Union Territory, which include 137 unique product as per the recommendation received by the state or the Union Territory. Very much utilized by the Uttar Pradesh. Capacity building and incubation center, these were also set up under this scheme, because under the capacity building component of this scheme, the National Institute for Food Technology Entrepreneurship and Management, the Indian Institute of Food Processing Technology have provided training and a research support to the selected enterprises, groups or the clusters in partnership with the state level technical institutions. Agreement with the Union Bank of India as the nodal bank for this scheme. But the MOU have been signed with the 11 banks as the official leading partnership. But you have to remember the main bank was Union Bank of India. So these things are very important, but you have to remember about Ministry of Food Processing and Industry. Union Minister is Narendra Singh Tomar. Constituency is Morena in Madhya Pradesh. Remember. Moving to next section, it is our important question section. You have to like this video, share this video as maximum as possible, and subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. And guys, please join our Telegram group from the description box link. And here is the question. Which organization has launched a joint platform to tackle COVID-19 pandemic? So this is not so much important because so many organizations are tying up for tackling this COVID-19 pandemic. Earlier it was World Health Organization only. After that, World Health Organization and the Gavi Foundation also tie up for the tackling of this COVID-19 pandemic. But now 3 organizations. One is the World Health Organization. Second is the World Intellectual Property Organization. Third is the World Trade Organization is also there. So answer of this question is all of these. You can see here World Health, IP and trade bodies launch platform to tackle COVID-19 pandemic. So the most important here, the name of these organizations. You can see the name of the organization, World Health Organization. WHO was established in 1948. Its headquarters is in Geneva. Its headquarters is in Geneva. So remember this. And who is the head? Tedros is the head. World Intellectual Property Organization. And you can also remember the members. 194 countries are member of World Health Organization. WTO. World Trade Organization was established in 1995. Yes, 1995. Its headquarters is in Geneva. And the member countries are 164. And who is the head of World Trade Organization? Head is very important, even the most important question, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So you have to remember the name, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, World Trade Organization head, and she belongs to Nigeria. Next is World Intellectual Property Organization. This organization was established in 1967. Its headquarters is again Geneva, and its member countries are 193. The most important is the World Trade Organization and World Health Organization. Moving to next section, it is our one-liner important section. Here is the first. Indo-UK Free Trade Agreement can help in achieving Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is UKIBS report. It means UK India Business Council report, which is headquartered in London, United Kingdom. So both the countries had agreed for an enhanced trade partnership, which is known as Free Trade Agreement, and they have agreed to start Free Trade Agreement negotiations by the end of 2021 with the goal of doubling trade by the 2030. It is India and United Kingdom. Next, industrial credit growth in financial year 21 remained negative according to Reserve Bank of India. So it is basically predicted by the Reserve Bank of India that it will become negative in the financial year 21, and it is industrial credit growth rate. And the only factor here is the COVID-19. So it reported continuous growth in the personal loan, which is recorded 13.5% growth in the financial year 21. And the credit to the private corporate sector declined for the sixth successive quarter for its share of the total credit. And remember, it is just 28.3%. But you don't have to remember this data. You have to just remember that industrial credit growth is still negative, and it will remain negative according to RBI. Microsoft officially launched Windows 11. You can just remember that Windows 11 officially launched. India presented 10 translated books of modern Indian literature to SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Like 2 days back, we discussed about SCO, but you have to just remember about 2 or 3 things about SCO. SCO was established in 2001. Its Secretary General is Vladimir Norov. Vladimir Norov. Its headquarters is in Beijing, China, and official languages are 2. One is China, second is Russia. And India and Pakistan become the member of SCO in 2017. So India presented these books. Basically, these books are translated by the Sahitya Academy, which had commissioned the translation project and completed it by the end of 2021. And it includes English, Russian, Chinese translation of 10 classical works of the modern literature written by the prominent Indian authors in different languages. So you have to just read this news. New International Cricket Stadium in Jharkhand by the Steel Authority of India Limited and BSL. Basically, it is Bokaro Steel Plant. So, Jharkhand State Cricket Association had inked a memorandum of understanding with SAIL Bokaro Steel Plant for the construction of International Cricket Stadium in Bokaro City, Jharkhand. So, Bokaro will become the third city in Jharkhand to have an international cricket stadium after Jamshedpur and Ranchi. Already Jamshedpur and Ranchi has the international cricket stadium, but now Bokaro will become the third city in the Jharkhand. So you can remember this. International Asteroid Day 2021 also celebrated on 30th of June, guys. Earlier we covered 30th of June under the International Day of Parliamentarism, but now we are covering International Asteroid Day. This day is celebrated to create a global awareness campaign annually, and it is to create awareness and engage and educate the general public about the asteroid opportunity and the risk. So just remember this, but it is not so much important. So moving to the question of the day, what is the question of 30th of June 2021? As per the section 31 of the RBI, who can issue and accept the promissory notes that can payable on the demand in India? First of all, you have to know about what is promissory note. Promissory note is a legal, financial tool declared by party promising another party to pay the debt on a particular day. It is a written agreement signed by the drawer with a promise to pay the money on a specific date or whenever demanded. The note is a short-term credit tool which is not related to any currency note or bank note. You have to remember this. This is very important thing which I am telling you. Write this: currency notes are money that do not fill the conditions of promissory notes. The currency is excluded from the Negotiable Instrument Act and governed by the Indian Currency Act. So the currency notes are not promissory notes, but these promissory note under the section 31 of the RBI Act can be issued by the RBI as well as the central government through RBI. So answer of this question is both A and B. So C is the answer. Now we are moving to the question of the day. Question of the day: which bank is a specialized financial institution for financing, facilitating and promoting foreign trade in India? So very simple question, but most important question. You have to answer me only in the comment box. I'm waiting your answer. But you have to like this video. You have to subscribe this channel if you're new on this platform. And guys, please share this video as maximum as possible. This is the only thing you can provide us as a motivation. And you have to click on this bell button and you can join our Telegram group for the further notifications. And you can also subscribe our Affairs Cloud channel, but you have to subscribe with 1 year validity as well as 2 year validity, but the prices are very much low. We are providing 10% extra discount if you use this code ASH10. And it is my personal promise that if you're watching the videos regularly and if you are reading the current affairs from the PDFs, then your current affairs section will go strong definitely. And guys, don't take life so much serious. Life is fun. Always be happy. Thank you guys. Take care and bye-bye.